The following program was recorded at ARC Advisory Group's annual World Industry Forum in Orlando, Florida. I'm pleased to welcome ARC Research Director Craig Resnick.
And I have a special guest with me today, Bernie Anger, who's the General Manager of Control and Communication Systems at GE Intelligent Platforms. Welcome, Bernie. Glad you're able to make it today.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure to be with you, Craig.
Great. You know, we've all witnessed this unprecedented global recession that was far deeper, far more widespread than any of us forecasted. What did you learn from the recession? I know, thankfully, we're all emerging from the recession. But as far as now how you manage and position your business going forward, what have you learned, and how are you going to manage things differently based on what the past experiences all taught us?
So on a personal basis, I'd say one learns humility when things like that happen. In terms of what happens as a consequence, I'd probably say three different things. One is we're coming off the recession into what we like to call a multi-speed world. This actually means different parts of the world developing with different set of priorities, with different senses of urgency. And what that means for us is essentially making sure that we are tailoring what we develop and how we deliver it based on the local needs, as opposed to one set of solutions for the entire globe. The second dimension that I would point out is that our customers have come out of this really asking for more solid, faster payback for their investments. The way we look at that is in terms of how can we pre-package the answer to commonly known issues in our industry. And the final point I would look at is probably with the recession we all learned to be a little bit more flexible, a little bit more willing to try new ways of doing things. And together with our customers, we're trying to learn how we come up with more creative, more focused answers to what they face.
Okay. I guess as a follow-up to that, with more and more companies using offshore or outsourced resources for technology development, how do you see that trend affecting GE Intelligent Platforms and your business and even some of the development decisions that you might be making?
So, at some point in time, many in the industry, including ourselves, looked at global talent as a way of creating capacity. So basically not enough engineers to go around based upon everything we're trying to do, and we started these development centers all over the globe. The reality is today those help us attend that set of local needs. So we can actually have a team in China that looks at the needs of the local Chinese market. We can have a team in India that does the same for the local India market. We can do the same in Brazil. And we can obviously do the same in the markets that we've been well established in. So the real opportunity is that transformation of one global team for one global set of needs to local teams around the globe attending to local needs.
Okay. So now that you've been able to develop these technologies globally, which ones do you see for your business as being the most important for you to meet your objectives and your customers' objectives over the next decade?
Yeah, so I'd offer just a slightly different answer to that. One is I think in terms of what are some of the technologies that we see impacting our industry in a broad scale, right? And I think the one that's most impactful for us is thinking about the next 10 years as the era of ubiquitous connectivity. Over the last 10 years, we had the Internet of Computers. I think the next 10 years are the Internet of Things, and one can start designing systems based on the assumption that connectivity will be there. Now, we'll do it with the right safeguards in our industry just to make sure that in the event something happens, we're protected. But one can become very clever in terms of solutions that you can offer customers around the idea of ubiquitous connectivity. That'll probably be the heart of what I think is game changing for the next 10 years.
Okay. Now I think you've seen manufacturers and processes are really becoming more dependent on companies like yours to kind of help keep their plants running smoothly by utilizing a lot of your enhanced service offerings. So what are you doing from GE Intelligence Platforms as far as your service offerings to kind of help meet that demand from the manufacturers and processors?
So two elements to the answer. One is we have always relied on a global network of partners to come together in front of the customer for solutions, and we continue to strengthen those partnerships. We think it's actually important to be there with the right skill set in the right part of the world. Now, the one thing that has probably changed or has actually gone better is our ability to take on total project ownership in those kind of situations. And then the final element of that we're doing a little bit different than in the past is for a handful of applications in some of the core GE segments, we are investing a lot in standardizing those solutions, trying to go from an engineer to purpose to a pre-engineer to purpose type solutions. We think that actually gives customers lower risk, that actually gives customer better asset performance as well.
Now, you probably noticed that this whole conference, all we're talking about is energy. So how much of an impact would you say that energy savings plays in the whole GE intelligent platforms, product offerings, the energy solutions you have now, energy solutions that you may be thinking about for some of the future? So talk about, I would say, your role as far as helping your customers save energy.
Yeah, so I would start by saying that energy savings is one of the elements of sustainability. If you look at a big GE picture, we've actually used the label of eco-imagination to really capture what we're trying to do from a sustainability perspective. And this is actually an initiative that goes well beyond the scope of our particular business. In terms of how we translate eco-imagination and how we translate sustainability, energy savings inside of my business, what we're really doing is we're defining some of our core solutions, not in terms of the technology that enables them, but really in terms of the benefit they provide the customer specifically in the areas of sustainability. So we may actually talk about how we evolve a water treatment facility or a water treatment control solution in terms of its energy savings, in terms of its chemical savings. And that thinking starts permeating the way our entire organization works. So it's very, very significant.
No, and certainly you can see GE's position in economation across all their industries. So I'm assuming that GE Intelligent Platforms is playing a very central role into the whole economimagination.
Yeah, definitely. For example, our Prophecy software platform was recently eco-imagination certified. And what some people may not know is that the eco-imagination certification process by GE is an independent certification process. So this is not just a marketing brand behind our products. This is really an independent validation of the impact that the solutions we create have on the footprint or the eco footprint of the world.
Okay, and one last question to me is that I have for you is regarding cloud computing. What kind of an impact do you see cloud computing have on your customers, the impact you see it having on your future product offerings? So just tell us a little bit about what the GE Intelligent Platforms position is right now on cloud computing and what some of your customers might be looking at in the future for possible solutions from you.
Yeah, so in terms of from the basic to the more elaborate, at a basic level for customers in the control systems world, cloud computing can provide a safe repository for the intellectual assets that are running their plants. Today, if I go to an e-book vendor, they will maintain my e-book collection for me. No reason why we cannot do more of that as an industry, and we're clearly investing in technology that makes us better with every passing day in that front. The second dimension I would comment on is the opportunity for us to help customers manage fleets of assets. So for OEM customers, that gives them an opportunity of getting an integrated view of what they have provided to their customers. For large customers, that allows them to do the same. And for us, it allows us to look at the performance of the collection of systems, all with the right levels of privacy and at the right time, the right levels of access to information. So that's very powerful as well. And the third element, which is almost a demographic dimension to it, is the opportunity for collaboration. We are facing the next 10 to 15 years a shift in demographic trend where we have a next generation that's smaller than the current one in terms of ability to deploy and maintain some of the plants around the world. The cloud computing will enable I'm going to call a community approach to solving control problems. We will start small. We will start with some of the simpler control problems, and we'll scale from there. But I think that's probably the more far-reaching aspect of cloud computing. And from our perspective, we're investing in all three. We're investing in basic infrastructure to protect customers' assets. We're investing in a pretty novel infrastructure to really manage fleets of assets, and we're making investments to allow a collaborative approach to solving controls problems.
Great. Pleasure to have you today, Bernie. Thank you very much.
Thanks for the time.
And again, this is Craig Resnick, Research Director, ARC Advisory Group at the 2011 Orlando Forum. Thank you very much.